to you about one of the most important aspects of your business, recruiting. Key in the success of your business. You know, I shared with you earlier that you really don't want to have a mindset, a lottery mindset, if you will, of that if you can just get that one person or get that one corporate account, that's going to be it. That is not the mindset you want to have in this business at all. For one, you should be leading from the heart with wanting to bring about health and wellness awareness and knowing that you can monetize that. And there's nothing wrong with monetizing your passion. I've certainly done that throughout my entire career, and I encourage every single one of you on the field to do the same. But there is an art to recruiting. You know, people are going to respond to you, not just what you're saying, but how you're saying it, certainly if you're a product of the product, but more important, how are you going to bring value to them? What's really in it for them? So the recruiting process in and of itself is one that when you implement certain tactics, you're going to find that there's no elevator, there's no quick ride, there's no lottery mentality, but if you stay the course and you're consistent, just consistently, as Logan talks about in our 7 fundamentals, you're doing your exposures each day. You know, fortunes in the follow-up. If you implement the 7 steps, you will be assured success. You won't get success overnight, but you will get it. And for some, it'll come faster than others. But really adopt the mindset of you want to share. You've got the cookie, and you want to share the cookie, as opposed to going into this with a mindset of trying to sell someone on it or trying to recruit them. Because what we have is truly extraordinary, second to none, and you want to be able to capitalize on that as you're sharing it. So there's a methodology in doing so. So what will it take? Well, it's going to take massive action. You know, wishing and wanting and coming in and saying, okay, this is my ticket, I'm going to kill it, and I'm just going to go recruit, you know, hit up my friends and my family and become a member of the NFL. Not Troy's NFL, the no friends left NFL. Right? You got to get out of that mindset. Everyone that ever crosses your path, any living, breathing human being, should be on ID nutrition. Keep in mind that even our assessment is approved and certified for age 12 and up. So you really want to be in the mindset of taking action. Action starts with the 7 fundamentals. Really implementing those every single day. You have to have that mindset of you're in this. It's a 24-month game plan. You're in this to win. But in order to do that, you can wish it and want it all you want. But making excuses or only doing half of what Logan, who's the expert of experts in this field, has shared with us and specifically instructed what needs to happen. How you can tell the difference is that those of us that apply Logan's principles are the ones rocking it. And there are a lot of people on this field rocking it, all teams across the board. And then there are those that kind of come in and go, well, geez, you know, no one on my team's doing anything. Okay, maybe the timing's off or they're just enjoying the products. But it isn't about your team doing something, it's about you doing something. You becoming the rock star you desire. And so are you doing the things that you need to do to be that person? If you're wanting to recruit a Logan stop for yourself, are you behaving and showing up professionally, consistently every day that would attract a Logan stop to you? These are the things you really want to think about. So it's taking that action and going into this understanding that it's a 24-month game plan and it'll probably take you at least a 6-month commitment to really figure it out. To figure out how to implement this into your life, how to apply the 7 fundamentals, how to really make it part of your being and part of your world. And we shared earlier, even Caesar, my top-notch director here, shared with you, he's been with me since day one. And I'm kind of like the mama bear for my team, and I talk to him every single day. And it was the nurturing and the coaching and the telling him over and over and over again, and then one day it kind of all hit, and it was like, huh. And he took off running, and he's on fire. And he has blown it up all over San Antonio and across the country. So it's the same concept here. It may take you a few months, but if you're committed and you're applying, following the roadmap, listen, don't reinvent the wheel. No one better here than Logan Stout himself. And when he's given us the 7 fundamentals, it's because he's proven and tested and tried them time and again. So it's really important that you just follow the path of those that have gone before you successfully. So TLC. That's really what this business is about. We're a loving, sharing, caring family from a corporate standpoint, from a field standpoint. That's just who we are as an organization. So TLC is a great acronym for this because it refers to the team building, the leadership, and the culture. As you're building your team, no one could have presented it better than Caesar did earlier today. It's important that you focus on the things that he's shared. But also keep in mind the leadership. You all have amazing uplines. If maybe it isn't your immediate sponsor because maybe they're so brand new that they're trying to figure it out too, then go up the food chain. Go up however high you need to do, or go across. We're all here to help and serve you. I know that the corporate trainers really, It isn't even about global pool. That's great, and that sweetens the pot, but we really are people that want to see you guys excel, and we really want to see you carry forth, our message and our passion. So look to the leadership of our company. Do whatever you need to do to make it happen for yourself, and then create that culture. Be a product of the product. Be walking, talking evidence of why ID Life is impacting you on a multitude of levels. Not just internally and externally, but how it's, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all the ways that Logan always alludes to. That will make a key difference. Believe me, people are drawn to confidence. People are drawn to, as Jason and Jacob just shared, do you look like you're on your journey to becoming healthy? It's not about having a six-pack and being ripped. But are you practicing this, or are you throwing down, McDonald's or French fries or chicken fried steak while you're talking to someone about ID nutrition? Right? I mean, reality. Right? Exactly. Y'all are laughing because some of you are guilty of this, and I know it because I'm all over the country with ID Life, and sometimes I'm just amazed. Just amazed. You're doing a mixer, here's a tip. Maybe try having healthy food over your mixer. I've gone to mixers where I thought to myself, Lord have mercy, how are they going to believe a thing I have to say because of what's being served? Be cognizant of that because it will make a huge difference for you. But listen, sponsoring is a process. There's a big distinction between sponsoring and recruiting. You don't want to have this mindset. We are not a company like most network marketing companies, or many of them are, where it's, we got you in, here's your kit, go get them. No, we truly are about building people and leading them to success. And certainly Logan has provided all of the tools in our back office that you need to do that, and then the leaders come in and really take those of you, and I say this always, I myself walk with the walkers, run with the runners. Those that raise their hand on my team and say, hey, I really want to do this and knock it out of the ballpark, you sponsor and you nurture. It's like a child, okay? Because people come into this business and they're excited about the product, they're excited about the opportunity, but they don't really know what to do. Maybe they've never done network marketing before, or maybe they've done it, but they've done it in such a different model that's an entirely different mindset. So you want to make sure that they're plugged into the corporate events. You want to make sure you're driving them from event to event, that you're attending. You always ideally want to have guests to attend a mixer or a business presentation. But even if you don't, you yourself should be going. Because you hear the information over and over and over again. And I always say, it's like if I flung mashed potato at the wall, if I keep flinging, at least 10% of it's going to eventually stick. So as you're coming into this business, when you signed up for college, you didn't show up on the first day and then come back 4 years later with cap and gown. You had to keep going. And so you kind of want to look at this, if you're going to treat your business seriously, that in order to become someone who can really sponsor and lead people and lead them to victory but not astray, you really want to plug into our systems, and you want to attend as many events as you can, with guests always ideally, but even if you can't, you want to attend, because the more you hear experts like National Director Michelle Norris, when you hear my muscle brothers, Jason and Jacob, when you hear an exceptional leader killing it, I kid you not, slow and steady, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, Cesar Torres, you are going to get better because you're going to take things that Michelle said, things that Cesar said, maybe something that I said, Jennifer Moran, of course, anyone, and you're going to make it your own, and it's going to make you better, because we're here about building you and making you better. That's going to help you take the person through the process, up the steps. Did it take me 9 months of basically nurturing you? Yeah. Cesar? But man, if he didn't wake up one day and now he's running me into the ground. Literally, building teams across the country. He started with conquering San Antonio, and then I guess the US was just not enough, and so he's just off and running. So that's what you kind of want to do. And the same got duplicated. Because he brought in exceptional leaders like Edward that you're going to hear from here in just a little bit. Same thing. Talk about a powerhouse. Been in pretty much, not quite from the beginning, but early on. And he is knocking it out. Slow and steady, put together a phenomenal game plan. But let me tell you, these guys, I hear from them every day. Every event that's ever in San Antonio, they're here, rain or shine. In Dallas, they're coming up to Dallas. They're staying plugged in. So it's really, really important because you need to become that rock star. And you need to be that leader that will lead. Dogs don't chase parked cars. They don't. So if you're not on the upward move, if you're not moving and have momentum, Miss Live at American Airlines or Southwest, with Michelle, if you're not moving, no one's going to want to follow you. Does that make sense? Okay. So you want to be a fisherman and not a hunter. We're not that company that goes out and just recruit. Listen, for those of you that know me, know that if I just wanted to recruit, and I'm a strong recruiter, I have recruited a lot of people in this company. But I've taken my time to slowly develop one at a time. And I'm developing them strong, because it's not, I firmly believe it's not how you start, it's how you finish. You want to have that same mindset. You want to be a fisherman of people that really want the opportunity, because if you have to talk them into it, you're going to have to talk them into it every single day. You want to be able to present this opportunity and have it be captured by whomever it's meant to be captured, and they will make themselves known. Because inevitably, even if you invite all your friends and have them bring guests at a mixer, we can always tell by the questions being asked, by the products being picked up, who's standing there reading every ingredient, so on and so forth, who has a real interest. They will make themselves known. And those are the people you want to lock arms with and take off running. We leave no one behind, but we also understand that timing is everything, and some people will just want to be on the product for a while, and that's fine. But you don't want to ever adopt that mindset of you're just going out and I'm just going to go recruit, because if you yourself aren't strong and aren't working on your personal growth and development and becoming a leader, where are you going to take them? Again, dogs don't chase parked cars. So you want to make sure that you're always on that forward moving path. Very, very, very important. Now, I'm going to share with you that the following slides you're about to see, I'm going to actually have Cesar Torres present them to you, because he is someone who has truly earned the right for me to make him front and center. I kid you not, I'm well aware of what we're working on, and it's just impressive. And I want you to hear it from someone on the field and not necessarily from a corporate trainer, because it might be a little more relatable. So Cesar, if you'll come on up. Let's give him a big round of applause, because he's really deserves it.
Back with the mic again. So just covering writing the list, I was talking earlier about setting up 3 different lists. That's what I typically do. Here are some examples of people that you can talk to. You can go through friends, relatives, associations, associates, neighbors, kids. There's never a shortage of people to speak to. That's safe to say. Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody else. So you want to constantly be looking at each opportunity and figuring out who can you speak to, how can you speak to them, how can you make it relatable, and where can you start to actually attract people that are like-minded and work with them. The yellow pages in this slide here, this is kind of an interesting thing to do. I recommend that you either Google businesses in your zip code, even target specific ones. Go through the yellow pages and look at, hey, what fitness centers are in the area? What doctors are in this area? What car dealerships are in the area? If you're not quite sure, but you can figure out all these different groups and you need help figuring out how to talk to them, I'm available to help with suggestions, ideas. For some reason, I can't shut my brain off, so I'm willing to share that with you. But just some ideas. You go through a car, the phone book, and you find car dealerships. You can start wellness programs with the employees there. You can offer them products for energy and sleep, because those guys work long hours. You could talk to your neighbor who they know somebody that works in the oil field. And, get creative with the products and the opportunity we have, and figure out a way to make it fit that specific group. Yellow Pages, Googling different businesses and looking for leads from there, that's a great source. Something that Carla says all the time, she just talked about it here, I don't ever want to feel that somebody joined the team because it was a sales pitch. That's not the intent. That is not my hope for people to be on the team that we have. And even just kind of going back, I own some fitness centers, 4 Anytime fitness centers here in San Antonio. And people assume, they say, hey, I bet you go after, those car salesman guys or whatever, because that's kind of, what I guess some people think of when they go to a fitness center. I said, no, actually, I really target bank employees and people that work at Chick-fil-A. Why would I say that, and why is that? Because never once, if you go into a Chick-fil-A, you always hear, my pleasure, thank you, how can I be of service, how can I help? You go to a bank, most people are very welcoming. You're like, oh, hi, how are you today? You know, that kind of personality. They're not really selling, they're more of customer service. That is where I think the biggest leap is on what I'm doing, what the team's doing, what we can do together is be more customer service oriented and start to focus on building teams and people that want to join you by being that type of an individual, not, hey, join my team today for $3.99 and I tell you what, we're gonna blow. That's fine. They know that. They are smart enough to understand you obviously did this because you wanted to make some more money or you wanted some more time. People will figure that part out. But go a little deeper, figure out how can you be relatable and make it more of a customer service type of approach, and how can you serve this individual. If you do that, you'll succeed. They'll succeed, and they'll appreciate being able to work with them. Does that make sense? Yeah. No is never no. Okay. When I first was looking at this slide, I was thinking, well, if somebody tells me no, I kind of want to just go and leave them alone. But I understand the thought process, you know, me not right now. I have had personal experience where I've had individuals that I spoke to at the beginning when we were first getting started. I said, hey, I want you to do this with me. I really appreciate the opportunity of working together. And take these following words to heart. It's simple, but take them to heart because I say it all the time. I say, will you help me? That is a very powerful statement. If I'm talking to you and saying, will you help me? Can we do this together? Because I really know we can make it. Will you help me? Asking somebody to help you versus, you know, I need you to do this or I want you to, that's a totally different take. I have found by asking somebody, will you help me? This is what I'm trying to accomplish. That simple phrase, people are like, oh, yeah, I could actually help you. I'm sure, why not? Because we all want to feel needed. We all want to feel like, hey, somebody wants us to do something with them because, you know, we can do this together. It's important. But if somebody tells you no, I'm not saying, you know, obviously to give up on them, but give them some time because I have had people that from January that said, no, I'm not interested. They slowly start to see the events. They see the posts. They see we have amazing products. They see things coming up. I keep up with them every so often and say, hey, just want to let you know, I'm still around. If you're ever interested, you want to come out and take a look at this. I don't know if the timing's right or not, but hey, just wanted to invite you. You'll be surprised how many people from January had just recently joined. Because I just very casually continue to invite them and continue to say, hey, you know, I was thinking this might work out for you. I had a friend that I talked to a couple months back, and his business, he thought there's no way on God's green earth this could be partnered with ID Life. He has a water softener business. And it took me 9 months to come up with, well, people are wanting cleaner, tasting, fresher water. Why don't we, promote how they should have something very healthy to drink with their healthy water? It was a shot. I didn't know if he'd go for it. That's fantastic. I have a database book. All of a sudden, he wanted to go run with it. Took some time, but continue to keep thinking of ways that it could fit that specific individual's business. There'll be a member of the no friends list, the NFL, that Carla was talking about. You don't want to keep hammering out your friends and family. Obviously, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. And you can obviously have a different conversation with them. I can go to my family and be like, hey, look, do this for me, okay? Family. Consider this my Christmas gift. Be a customer, please. Whatever, guilt them to do it, I don't know. But they're going to do it on their own time. You have a different conversation. But you don't want to keep hounding the same people. Be creative. Go out to talk to people. See how can you make it about them and get something put together that makes sense for them to build a business. The invitation, not the presentation. So if I were to go and want to recruit somebody, or I'm going to talk to a doctor, and it was asked earlier just back there, say, hey, do you cold call doctors or anything like that? I have. Now, if I were to go into a doctor's office and say, hi, my name is Caesar, and I'm a direct sell rep from a company called I'm done. They're not going to want to hear from me. They're going to be like, I'm not too sure. But if I come in and say, hey, you know what? I'm a consultant for physicians. I offer opportunities for a doctor's office just like yourself to add a cash module in their facility. Can I bring you lunch next week? Does that work? Totally different presentation into an invitation to lunch versus the first approach, and I get the appointment. If I'm going to reach out to friends and family and say, hey, I want you to come out to this deal that I'm having at my home, if I add you to a blast text message to 500 people, do you feel very significant? Most likely not. But if I single you out and I say, hey, will you come over to my house tonight? We're going to have some wine, some cheese, I'm going to do a little mini presentation. But I was thinking that you might want to hear this because we have an opportunity that I wasn't thinking about before, but we could partner together and really do something powerful. Are you interested? Because if you're interested, I really want that time to be with you. Or check this out, this is what I have, what I've come up with. You want to be able to do that. My personal belief is people are going to want to talk to you and respond to you better when you have more of a face-to-face appointment with them, or you make it more personable to them. So take that to heart. If you're going to invite people to a mixer or to come to your home, or you want to invite them to an opportunity like this, figure out who's on your list that you're going to invite, but make that invitation mean something when you're inviting them. When I came out the gates to get started with ID Life, I put together a list of 30 individuals that I had never approached with any type of direct sell business in the past. There was about a 2.5-year gap from the time that I actually dabbled in one other direct sell business, and I didn't really care for it too much. It only lasted for about 6 months, and then I kind of was like, I don't want to do that again because it might be something that, I don't want to be that guy. I'm walking into the room and I go, oh hell, Caesar's going to try to sell us on something. I did not want to do that. So I made sure that when I went to talk to these individuals, going back to what I said earlier, it's very tasteful, tactful, and thoughtful. And how could I make it more about them than it was about me? And be sure that I spent the time with each individual until they flat out were just no, either no, I'm not going to do it, or they ended up doing it. That first week, out of the 30 individuals that were on my list, 22 of them signed up. And it's not because I had a secret formula, it's not because I was a better presenter. We have the same website, we have the same products, same 24 hours in a day. I have 2 small children, I have other businesses, I have a lot of things going on just like everybody else does. But it was because I took the time to sit down with each individual and make it about them, make them the priority, to show them that if they did this with me, not only would I be there to support them, I can help them grow their business, but we can have fun and it can be relatable to whatever they have going on. By the time I was able to do that, a team had started to assemble. So think of those things as you're going down your list. Think of that as the next time you're going to talk to somebody, not about, join my team because I'm trying to hit this next rank. And I'm not saying anybody does that, but just think about that, just say, hey, you know what? You do this, what if we could tie these 2 things together and make it more of a collaborative opportunity? And people respond well to that. 5 key words that, you shouldn't use. Where is that? So, starting off a conversation just with that alone. Like, I don't, going into a situation and just saying, would you be interested, it's positioning it in a way to where people can say, no, I'm not interested. And the same thing with some of the things that I tell people is I always end something with, is that fair, versus will you do it? If I ask you today, hey, I want you to take this assessment, can you do that? Yeah, I can. No, you know what, no, I'm kind of busy, that's whatever. They can give you one of those answers. I say, hey, I really need you to take this assessment over the weekend. When you take that assessment, I'm going to follow up with you on Monday just to kind of get your feedback and see where you are with it. Is that fair? Now I put it, is that fair? Then I got to say, no, I'm not going to. And I'm serious. If you end the conversation that way, they're like, yeah, that's fair. And we just did it on a training call that we had just yesterday. The girl was ready to beat down the door figuring out, what do y'all have to offer? What are you going to do? And I did the exact same thing with her, and I ended, is that fair? She's like, actually, that is fair. Can you call me at 10 a.m. on Monday morning? I have you set down for an appointment. Perfect. May not work like that all the time, but I'm just giving you a suggestion on how you can word things differently. Carla got me with this, she reeled me in. guess what I found out when actually the person that she had me talk to, that's exactly what he told me. We're sitting down in the vehicle, we're driving back in November, December timeframe last year, and he says, guess what I found out? As he's driving, he hands me a laptop, or his iPad, I'm sorry, and I'm sitting there, and after I saw this thing, I was like, you got me, because I wanted to know. I was like, well, what did you find out? He said, did you know that you could take this assessment? And it could, like, he's driving me around, talking to me. I was like, what are you talking about? It worked. I was like, no, how did you find that out? And he's like, it's a brand new thing. You got to take a look. I had no idea, but it worked. So, some just suggestions on, how you can approach somebody. Hey, I just found out you can take a free help. He got me with that. He did, because he was taught to do that from Carla. This is something that I used actually on my dad. Because he is totally, this is not his thing at all. I've been talking to him about, that whole ID Life platform for a while. He's a compounding pharmacist. I said, hey, why don't you try this, take a look at it. And most recently, did I get a phone call from him, and he said, hey, come over to the house, I'm ready. And I'm like, what in the world? You ready to show up? Computer was on site. I'm ready. Okay, I just realized when you told me before that, you can make customized, vitamins and blah, blah, blah. I don't know why, it didn't dawn on me that way. I'm ready. And he's somebody that I've been trying to get in since January. Obviously, it's family, so I'm not going to keep bugging him with it, but he finally just did. And these are some of the things that I say on a daily basis, including with, will you help me? Is that fair when you're having conversations with individuals? Fort Knox. Basically, we are sitting on a gold mine. Timing is right. We hear that from Logan, we hear that from Michelle, Jennifer, Carla, we hear that from everybody. You understood that the timing was right because you wouldn't be here if you believed otherwise. The products are phenomenal. I personally struggle, and I'm being very transparent, I struggle with making commitments to work out. I jokingly tell people all the time, say, I run a bunch of fitness centers, I should have had restaurants because I miss more workouts than I miss meals. Sure, I got. It's the truth. But since I have started this whole journey with ID Life, and it could be timing too, because I have two small little girls, a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, that are my big why. I all of a sudden started thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't be eating as bad as I had been, or maybe I shouldn't be, having that drink, because this is not necessary. All of a sudden, this platform put that into my head, and mind you, I have doctors and pharmacists and people that are my family that have been saying things to me for years. Like, well, you do so much with your business, you have fitness centers, then you get in there, it's like, yeah, but I make excuses, just like everybody else. Say, hey, if I get in there, everyone wants to start talking to me. It's true, they do. But that's not an excuse for me not to go and continue to work out. And I had to own that. I had to grow up. I had to say, hey, if I'm not doing it just like the Diaz boys up here that are flexing their guns and making me feel ashamed of myself as I was sitting there. I'm the first time publicly that I've ever even talked about, I do struggle with going and working out. I have just the day-to-day, busyness of setting up meetings. Every appointment is over breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And it's eating out somewhere. They'll talk about it. It's craziness. I sit down like, God, it's the third meal. It's so delicious, but it's the third meal that I've had today. I don't want to do that. But you can if you choose the right foods. And now all of a sudden, I started to do that. We had a meeting. You saw me with no tortilla. Just no tortilla. That's a big deal. I'm loving my tacos. But I'm trying. But I just want to tell you that it's real. These are the same things that everybody else is dealing with. Opportunity to be that extra encouragement, it's there. The timing, again, I'm going to keep going back to it. We know it's there. We just heard from Michelle in September. We were told that our company is going to be $1 billion business within a 29-month period from that time. I believe they said, is that right, that half of it is about the profit line? Is that correct? We're about 50% profit from the number that they were telling us at the conference. If we hit $1 billion, 500 million is close to what they were saying that profit would be, something like that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, more than 50% goes back to
deal.
Yeah, okay, so they were using the example of 5 million earlier, put a bunch of zeros behind that, and the timing was that wherever you are today, continue to do these small things month after month, skip that day after day, week after week, month after month, and stay the course. And we're seeing what that can be from $5 million. Fast forward to 29 months down the road, and we have a $1 billion brand, a $1 billion company. What do you want to have, as Michelle was saying, picking up suitcases of money on the way with it? I know I do. I'll grow extra arms if I have to do that. But it's true, right? We
They have luggage carts. It's okay.
No, I want to be like cool with extra. But it's the truth though, right? We want to. If you're not excited about that, you know, that's completely fine. If it's just about the timing, it's about the relationships that you can make with individuals, whatever your motivation is. The whole point is, and what I want to drive home today, where you are today is not where you're going to end. It's not where you're at, it's where you're going. Make sure that you continue to stay down the course, continue to plug into phone calls with your upline, continue to call your teammates, continue to work through the process. Because I can tell you right now, this opportunity is going to be huge. And from a franchising perspective, on what I've done with my own fitness centers, we have people making $36,000 or whatever it was a month, probably spending, you know, no more than at the max, if they didn't have anybody, $500 a month. To run 4 fitness centers, we're at $90,000 to operate those, and I'm not taking home $36,000. I'll just leave it at that, personally. Think about that. You have the opportunity to you had the opportunity to have put in $399 to be able to fast forward 29 months down the road and have the possibility of hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. Have fun while you're doing it. Get to change lives. I mean, think about that in this perspective of franchising. If you haven't thought about it that way, start talking to the people on your team that way. Hey, you know what? Caesar's not making jack with his gym. Seriously. And we have people that are doing that. Use that because it's the truth. There's no BS, fluff, nothing. That's the truth. This is circulated around through Facebook. We've seen people post it. And it's something that I actually have this printed out in my desk. And it's from the moment that I decided to do this because it was given to me and shown to me from Carla. There's no secret. I simply showed the plan of 1,200 people. 900 said no and only 300 signed up. And out of those 300, only 85 did anything at all. Out of 85, only 34 were serious. And out of those 35, 11 made me a millionaire. We are all one person removed from having our goals and our destiny reached. Period. You each have the potential to live this scenario. If you ask me what's the formula, I didn't do this. This is somebody else that's on there. But I live by this every day. Say, I don't know what your situation is. I don't know what you're going to produce out of it. I don't know. I'm going to do all that I can to be there for you, to help you grow it, to build something powerful. And hopefully it sticks. We can run together and continue to do this over and over and over again. But if you buy into it, if you follow the lead, if you really dig deep, work with your upline, work with your team, follow the system, you're going to be successful. I'm glad to be here with all of you guys. Thanks for listening. I am doing an intro. So we're going to have Edward Leos come on up and talk about the social media and marketing. Edward is a phenomenal person when it comes to building brands. He is the best at actually this field. He's working with me and other businesses to help grow some of those businesses as well. I've had the opportunity to work with Edward. He's a frontline person to me personally, and he's awesome. So you're in for a real big treat to listen to what he has to say. Senior Director, Edward Leos.
How are everybody doing?
Good.
Hear me? Alright. Let me grab this. Well, that's me. Obviously, you've seen a theme throughout this event today, and it's been about being a product of the product. It's about what? You? You've been here for a few hours. I think it's time for my energy drink. And I tell people this all the time when they come up to me, and I know Caesar gets this all the time too, is I'm not in sales. I can't sell. So can you open up a bottle of water? Can you put an energy drink in there? Shake it up? Put it at your desk? Use it? They're like, yeah, I can do that all day long. I said, well, that's what you just did. Welcome to our team. And so I've done that with Michelle on our team, Shannon's on my team as well, and it's being a product of a product. And so when you're talking about branding, I have my own marketing firm, had it for about, I still have it, I should say had it, for 21 years. And so I'm extremely vigilant when it comes to brand. And for us in this business, we'll go to the next slide. Personal brand is us. I mean, a lot of people go and say, okay, what is Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Heineken, Dos Equis? Those are the big corporations. But for us, our personal brand is what matters to us because we're each individual, we are our own business. And so online and offline is extremely important for us to kind of carry those two and have them married together. And one of the big things is that it's what separates you from everyone else in the world. Hugely important. You want to be authentic, and I think has everybody heard Logan speak here?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to have it here. Being authentic, that's the huge thing that he always says. I think that's probably the one takeaway that I get every time I hear Logan says is, be authentic. That is IUI. Your personal brand should represent the value you are able to consistently deliver to those who you are serving. I think you've seen also throughout this event today is that, yeah, you can go out there and be that salesperson, go recruit. I mean, Caesar used Teddy as an example. Incredible guy, great recruiter. And so what happened is we went and kind of got all these people in there, and we can all probably do that. We've been around those friends that are the salesperson kind of friends. But what we want to do here at ID Life is kind of take that to another level and kind of have you have the ability of being that giving, helping. How can I help you? Just like Caesar just said. It's about making your brand and making you unique. So as you go out into the marketplace, you're going to see a difference. And you're going to see a big thing when it comes to it. How many of you guys are on social media? No? You can raise your hand. I'm not calling. I know some people do. Some people want to be called.
They don't want to participate.
They don't want to participate. Do I stay over here? Okay. I'll stay on my spot. Social media. If you guys, how many of you guys are on Facebook? Twitter? LinkedIn? Some Instagram? I know there's some Pinterest people here because they follow me on Pinterest. So I know that's as well. So there's a lot. And as you can see up here, social media basically is media for social interaction using highly accessible and scalable publishing tools. What does that boil down to? It means one guy or one girl can have the same impact that a brand like Pepsi or Coke or Heineken can have. If it's done right, it can also have the adverse effect, where you can look completely terrible in a very fast time. Taking a picture at an event, saying the wrong thing one time on Facebook, posting that tweet. Your football fans, Johnny Manziel, Aggie. I mean, my wife said Aggie. When he went through all that stuff, posting his pictures and stuff like that, it's crazy. So you're having to keep up with things. So when I talk about the personal brand, talking about what you bring to this organization, social media gives you the opportunity to really go to another level and really be a huge tool in your belt, if you will. And it still doesn't beat the face-to-face, the belly-to-belly. I mean, this is a tool that is that important, as Logan will say, but obviously it's a starting point. And a lot of us who are obviously utilizing the social media platform and sphere, whatever it is, are kind of going towards this. But the biggest key is social media is about interacting with and sharing information with others online. I didn't see anything in there about selling and being effective at it. And so we just heard from Caesar when it came to recruiting 101. That takes over into the social media realm as well, even more so. Because it's real easy for us to be, if we're on Facebook, to be putting our products all the time. But we're excited about it. But there's also people that are, I've been on the other side before I got into Ivy Life, and I had some other friends in network marketing, and I'm seeing their posts, and every day it was just about slamming product in your face. And finally you get to that point where you just want to kind of stop seeing them in your feed. And at Ivy Life, we want to be different. We are different. And we've got a unique product and a unique concept. And so in doing so, by utilizing the social media network, you can do that. All right. These are some cool facts that I think are very important for us to know. And then, obviously, we're all involved in it because I think about 90% of us here in the room are on social media. But there's some things that even I was looking up that really were shocking and actually could make impactful moments to your business and bottom line. A lot of us already know 18 to 29-year-olds, they live on social media, 89% usage. But one of the things that I thought was really unique was, did you know that 60% of 50 to 60-year-olds are now active on social media? That's huge. That's a very big number, I think. And also in the 65 plus, 43% of those are using it. So now you have ways of communicating with people about their lifestyle, about their health, about their wellness. I mean, I'm 43, so talking to my mom's generation, my aunt's generation, and now be able to communicate with them via social media in doing that is huge. Obviously, Facebook's number one, $1.15 billion people online. Google Plus has been really coming up the ranks as well. Twitter, the cool thing about Twitter is that it's unique in that it's very quick. It's not, hey, how you doing? It's to the point. You know, here you go. Fastest growth, again, Twitter. How many people are on Twitter in here? So I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got about 5 or 6. But we'll get into Twitter, but the great thing about Twitter is that uniqueness, that it's very quick, 140 characters, in and out, very simple. You can have a hyperlink back to your site. Very, very unique and very good. The last 3 things down here in the bottom, I think, were something that really kind of shocked me. We have 5 people here on Twitter that are using it. 55 to 64-year-olds have actually increased 79%. So the older generation wants to be on Twitter, which is, I think it's pretty awesome. It's just another form of communication. Google Plus the same way. 45 to 54 has increased 56%, and then everybody's the standard. Standard is Facebook, I think. Everybody says if you're on social media, it's almost like Coke. Kind of has a name for, I'm gonna have a Coke instead of a soda. Facebook is kind of that standard name when you talk about social media. Yeah, are you on Facebook type of thing. All right. This is where I kind of want to get a little more interactive. I don't want to be the teacher here, because I'm not. I think the best way that you kind of get things going is by interaction and by questions and answers. And so what I'm going to do is show you some ideas on how I have utilized with clients. And when I say clients, I do a lot of small businesses to medium-sized businesses. I've helped a $1.5 billion corporation launch their social media down to Edward Leos. So the gamut is all there. But basically, it all boils down to this. Very, very simple. Have a plan and kind of enact it. And so when you have a platform like this, it's basically you set relevant and achievable goals. It's not anything that would be different than what you're doing with your ID Life business. You just now have another component that you want to do to be strategic about it. Because I really believe social media is the great equalizer. Again, it is the great equalizer. You want to build credibility, increase awareness. Obviously, the big thing for us is about generating leads. But one of the big things when it comes to my clients that want to get into social media and do it right, it's called social for a reason. You don't come into a networking event. imagine the social media is like a big networking event. It's worldwide. So you're Facebook. So Facebook is your event for the day. You walk into Facebook, that's your event. You got a piano over here, you got a bar over here. You don't walk into that first person and say, hey, I'm Edward Leos, you want to buy customized nutrition. It's not the first thing out of your mouth. There's a lot of people on social media that will utilize that thinking, I'm just going to blast this out to everyone and kind of put that out there for them to understand. As opposed, you would kind of come in and say, how can I be a part of this conversation? Oh, here's the bar. I'm going to walk over to the bar and say, hey, what's a good drink here? You know, wow, that guy's playing really good music over there on the piano. How long has he been here? And start engaging. That's the biggest thing with social media. It's about engagement. It's not about putting it all out there and just hoping that something kind of sticks, because what happens is credibility. Your credibility goes down the tubes. You may land those people at the beginning by taking that shotgun approach, where you just kind of shoot it out there and blast it as much as you can. But the way to make this and be very successful is to take those simple steps over time and be consistent. That's the biggest thing. I've been doing the ID Life since about March. And obviously social media is very, very important to me. It's part of my business, so it's implemented in my life. My phone is, I got all that stuff there. So I'm going and posting and building my brand when it comes to ID Life. And I'm seeing over time that it's starting, the fruits are starting to happen. And I've been in it since March. So what are we, November now. And I've actually had people, for instance, I was just telling this to them in the back, my brother's not even on social media, but my sister-in-law is. So my brother somehow uses my sister-in-law's account just to kind of see what's going on. And so when I was up in Dallas the last time, he happens to live in Frisco, right by the office, he's like, tell me about ID Life, what's going on with ID Life? Because he's been seeing all my posts on Facebook. We've had some other people that I've never had one comment or one like, but they're my friends. And so we were at a gathering the other day, and same thing, out of the blue. All right, what's going on with ID Life? What's going on? What is it? And so I've gone to networking events and stuff like that, and people just start talking to you about it. But it's about your brand. And so I'm very vigilant when it comes to that brand. In the fact that I actually own IDLife2.com. And so I'm building that brand as my go-to brand. If you guys, one of the things that I would suggest too, in reference to everybody has their IDLife.com /ERLeos is my name on my site, is looking at a vanity URL. I mean, it's very simple, it's cost effective. You go to GoDaddy, PowWeb, create a name. You know, it could be Michelle's IDLife.com. Something that's very easy for people to remember and for you to kind of market. And then all you do is you simply forward it to your ID Life page. And it's very, very, you get like about $12 for a whole year. So it's really a neat thing. You're branding ID Life, you're branding yourself as well, and kind of gives you the opportunity to do that too. Number 8 is probably really, really important. Test your ideas. This isn't rocket science, this isn't life or death, you know, but it is about taking what you have and testing it out. I think we had a social media seminar, I think it was 2 weeks ago, a webinar last Sunday through corporate, and it talked about Facebook. Obviously Facebook is huge because that kind of gives you guys the tools on how to do things. It has grown so much over the last several years that that bottom line is one thing I love the most. 70% of marketers use Facebook to gain new customers, and that's us. You know, for what we're doing, people want to know. You post that photo of the Throwback Thursday, and you've got your before picture and your after picture, again being a product of the product, and you tag your information on there. It's easy for people to kind of have that credibility built up for you over time. It's also about being consistent. It's got to be about consistent. You can't expect to go put a post out there on a Monday, and then people don't hear about your ID Life stuff until the following, until Saturday. And that consistency is not there. I'm not saying you're blasting every day, everything out about your ID Life business and every move you make. But I can tell you, it used to take 7 impressions to get somebody for a call to action. Nowadays, it's 21. So it is 3 times more, 3 times harder for you to get somebody's attention back then than it is now. Because now we've got text, phone, we can go mobile on our phone, we've got online desktop, we've got radio, television, film, everything. We have all these things bombarding us for our time, and it's about being important and relevant in this space. When you're on Facebook and you want to post some things, one of the biggest things that is huge is when you guys are on Facebook, do you guys prefer to see a photo or just text? Exactly. Photos are huge. That's the whole premise of Instagram and Pinterest. Photos. They're very simple. They're very vivid. You can get it. You can share it and send it on its way. Have your link in there. You were talking about the homepage of our site, posting that on there and utilizing that. Our back office has a ton of great images, but also think outside the box. I was in Dallas last week, and I'm notorious for this. I had my sleep strips with me, so I posted them on the pillow, took a picture of it in the hotel bed with the sleep strip, posted it out there. Hey, I'm excited about using my sleep strips. I know some of my friends have trouble sleeping. Had my hyperlink on there. And I had so many people that will like it, but that's thinking outside the box in terms of how you can utilize that information and get it out there. Yes, you could have the corporate image, post that out there, that's cool. But when you take it that one step further and make this your own, be unique, you start seeing things differently. People start seeing you differently, so that you're not like, even in ID Life, you don't want to be like everyone in ID Life because it's individually designed. So some things may work for you. Facebook may work for you. Twitter may be working for you. I mean, on Twitter you can follow Ellen and be sending her stuff all the time, and she might be following you, but I can tell you what, everybody in Ellen's feed is going to be seeing, who's the heck's ID Life? Or who's ID Life? I mean, my handle's ID Life too on that. So when I replied to Ellen, posted something, I'm like, yeah, Ellen, hey, this and that. Or some other story. I mean, it's that simple. So it's not like where you're on Facebook and you've got to be accepted as a friend. The cool thing about Twitter is that you can do that. Questions on Facebook. But I know you guys have some in reference to your business or building a brand. But basically, guys, photos. Photos are huge. How many?
I'll throw you a question there. So, if I don't set up a fan page necessarily, I'm just doing my own personal feed. Is there a proven ratio of personal type stuff versus business posts? Is there a rhythm to do that's been looked at? And
there actually isn't a rhythm to that. I think it's personal. It's personal, and I think it matters on who's following you. But also, there are specific times that are better for posting versus not posting. Does anybody know what the #1 time of the day and week it is to post on Facebook?
Morning.
What's the guess?
Wake up.
What's your best guess?
3 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesdays and Thursdays for me on our posts.
Correct. The information that I've gotten, it changes, and actually changes per industry. I have a travel magazine I own, and so my Facebook posts on Thursday and Friday are higher, because what do people want to do on Thursday and Friday? They want to get away. They start thinking about, what am I doing this weekend? So for that travel segment, it's awesome on a Thursday and a Friday because you want to post about that. The figures that we've gotten so far is 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon is the #1 sharing time on Facebook, which is kind of interesting. We have a lot of people.
You're in the afternoon.
Yes.
You're sick of
Correct.
sitting at your desk and we start.
Exactly. You're in the afternoon, and you know what the other reason is? What the other reason is? These. These are the other reason. So there are a lot of corporations that don't allow you to have Facebook access on your desktop. But what are people doing? You know it. They're at their desk. They're checking. They're texting, messaging. There's actually studies out there that show corporations that ban social media actually have a lower production because people are now on their phones Like, you know, I'm gonna go take that smoke break, or I'm gonna go to the break room, and they're on their phone, or they're at their desk now. So the productivity level of the companies who are trying to block everything is actually lower than the ones who say, you know what? Be appropriate, understand this. If you're on Facebook, make sure your work's getting done, and you have more of that open line, the productivity is higher. It's weird, because I was actually at a corporation that I was doing their social media for. They blocked everyone except for my team. So everybody in the whole corporation, billion-dollar corporation, was like mad at us, because how do you get this? Well, that's what we're doing. But you would see people on their phones.
You bring up something I'm just curious, and I want you to get into the details. Maybe, does Facebook have a function to delay or send out specified posts?
Yeah, they actually.
As far as timing is concerned?
Correct. Especially if you're doing something, if you have your fan page or your business page, there's two schools of thought. I actually have a business page for my ID Life business, and it's worth having. I mean, I think it's worth having. You've got to be careful too about being, trying to build both. I've got more followers. I've got 2,500 friends on Facebook, personal, and about 5,000 on my ID Life site, the business. The cool thing about the ID Life business one is that you can actually do promoted posts the way they talked about in the thing, and also do some of the scheduling that goes with it. The other thing too is that with my ID Life to Facebook fan page, I have that linked to my Instagram account. It's linked to my Twitter account. So when I post something, it's going in multiple directions at one time. I'm not going to Facebook, tweet this out, Instagram this out. I've got it so all of my stuff is worked together, and there's some programs here at the end that I'm going to show. I actually have a list of things to make you guys more efficient, utilizing stuff like a Hootsuite or TweetDeck, those kind of things where you can go in there, you put all your social media stuff, all your accounts, you could run it from your phone and stuff like that. I use a company called Sprout Social. We have to pay, but I have all this demographics and background on all of the people who are following me, whether they're Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, and I can have it sent out at any time. So scheduling is really great because you can go on a Sunday. So say you're doing a Sunday webinar, it's 8 o'clock at night, which actually is a lot of people. I don't know if you've noticed, but posting on a Sunday evening has been pretty good for me personally, and I've seen a lot of interaction. Because people are on their computers now and their phones, even while they're watching TV. Commercial breaks come on, they're on their phones. By next year, mobile is going to surpass desktop in terms of social media. So if you're not thinking about it, everybody else is, and they're going to be doing it. So it just makes sense that you have some sort of footprint in there. Any other questions on those? Anything else on Facebook? I like Facebook so much. This is Twitter. I think it's fun. I mean, obviously these are free things to be a part of, but Twitter itself, 550 million users, 30% things about Twitter is that you can actually set up things to follow. Like you can do a hashtag, this guy over here, FitFam, Van, he does a hashtag of FitFam all the time. So he's already building a brand when it comes to that. Every time I post something, I'll do a hashtag of, ID Life 2 or wellness or health. And so that's like a resource. So does everybody know what a hashtag is?
No.
Okay. So a hashtag is like, say you're going to the library. Or now hashtag is Google. Say you go up to Google and you type in, health and wellness. And so you're on Twitter and you would go into the section where it has the for a hashtag to search by keywords, like a keyword. You type in health. All these people who have done a hashtag, which is the ampersand, hand symbol, it'll come up and it'll say all is health. So you could actually then take yourself and go into that conversation. So you can go and say, okay, so here's, I don't want to use Dr. Oz, but here is XYZ person. This doctor is talking about health and nutrition. And now I can go to him and say, hey, this is a great article. This is some great content. You can retweet what he has, get in a conversation with him. be relevant. I would not suggest going and saying the first post and saying, hey, guess what? I do customized nutrition. Check out my free health stuff. Just like what Caesar said. You wouldn't do that in social media any more than you would do that in person. And so, but you now have what we would like to call a lead. And so it's like taking the premise of the yellow pages, and really putting it on steroids because you're very specific. And you're talking about anywhere in the world when it comes to Twitter. And so you can look at someone and say, okay, X person has 600,000 followers, this and that, start a conversation with them. If they follow you back, you have the potential now to direct message them. So it's like the equivalent of sending them an email on Twitter. It's private message basically, so they don't have, not everyone in their feed will know. And so then you can get information. It's worked for me where I've gotten some people and some leads and said, I've got this great information about this nutritional company, I want to talk to you about it, whether we can fit in together. They send me their email. I have a presentation that I have beyond the ID Life stuff that I've customized, and I'll send that to them. And then we just get in dialogue. And you kind of build that rapport from the beginning. But it's all about building the brand. They're not going to just hand you stuff any more than you go to a doctor's office and say, yo, come on in. We're going to go ahead and we're going to sign up. We'll get everybody taking this. No one is going to do that. You've got to build the credibility, build the brand, the relevance, and then take that next step and say, okay, this is what I have. This is what I have to learn. Twitter questions. These are some tips for implementing a strategy. And when I put these tips up there, yes, it's for big companies, but we are all our own companies. We are our own brand, okay? So one of the big things is to learn from the experts. You know, go on Twitter, Facebook, even LinkedIn. How many are on LinkedIn here? Okay, that's the professional Facebook, if you will. You're gonna get more about people who are talking more about business. You almost put like your resume up there, if you will, talking about, you know, what you do in your credentials. And it's more about dealing with people about business and opportunities, whereas Facebook is more like the college kid. You know, LinkedIn is more of the adult version of it. But it gives you an idea where you can kind of put yourself in and stay relevant with everyone. So I have a LinkedIn page too. If you don't have one, I actually encourage LinkedIn because it's, you know, we have some of our leadership that actually endorse utilizing LinkedIn because one of the things he'll do is, you know, if you got an event in Houston and you don't know anyone, but maybe you searched, you know, people in Houston and there's a doctor and you'll have a connection or whatever. Now you've got the opportunity to do that. I've built my LinkedIn profile so that now I have people all over the world where, once we go worldwide, but if we have another event, I can actually message them and say, hey, you know, you're in the health and wellness industry, this might be a great opportunity for you.
Have you built your LinkedIn around ID Life or around your marketing?
I actually switched. That's a great question.
Because I've got mine kind of both. I'm struggling with what to, you know, because my full-time job still is telecommunications sales, right? And so I don't want folks to think I've abandoned that necessarily, because I still get a lot of leads and contacts and referrals through LinkedIn in my telecommunications business, and then, but I also want to promote my health and wellness business as well. I've changed and led in with my ID Life business as my go-to, but it still has marketing professional as well. So I have like my agency, so it still says that I have my agency, that I'm still active in it, and then I have my, you know, senior director of ID Life. And it's actually opened up a lot of doors pertaining to ID Life and to marketing. Because what's happening now is I've got people who are approaching me about health and wellness. I've got doctors, got some chiropractors, and then I've got some people in human resources who are talking about corporate wellness, who have friend requested me specifically because I put my information on ID Life on there, but they still have my agency information and my Hotel Guide Travel magazine in there too. I haven't abandoned that at all. There is a fine line about it, but I think I just made a decision to go with what's going to be the goal in the end, is where I am. And so that's kind of where I am. Do you have a comment, Michelle?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've done the same thing because, you know, we've got several businesses, so I've done the same thing. I'm making all of them are there. And then I just had a lot of people contact me for their, without ID Life and then my other business, Carla Ferrer, a lot of people contact me for that. So I would say, I don't think there's anything wrong with having them
Yeah.
all there at all.
There's not a wrong way. I think in social media, there's two schools. I mean, people who are just that shotgun approach that are just going to go out there and blast it. It's almost like that. And I don't know, we have a used car salesman here, but everybody knows a used car salesman feel versus the nurturing. You know, I'm going to help you. I want to grow. That's more the approach I've taken in my personal brand is how can you help someone? Because essentially with ID Life, that's what we're doing. Yes, the money's going to come if you keep doing this correctly, but essentially we're helping people. And if you can get that, that's what I tell all of my team members. Get past the selling. This is not a sales position. This is not about that. This is help. Can you help someone? It's very, very simple. We all want to help someone. This is the holidays. It's the number one time when people start thinking about how can I help you? How can I give something back without expecting something in return? And so I built this brand, my personal brand, around that, around giving back, around helping. And all of a sudden, it's taken me a little time, but I'm also a marathon runner, so I also understand I'm in this for the long haul. If you build that brand, your brand, around something unique to you, you will start seeing that happen over time. If you go and talk about giving, and then like a month later, 6 weeks later, you're talking about hardcore sales, and then you try and shift back to that, you're going to have people that are going to go like this and go, really, what does this person stand for? So I am extremely vigilant with my brand because I want that to carry over. What you see here in person is what you see on social media. And that is the number one thing I need you to encourage you guys as my teammates here at ID Life is be authentic, be real. If you're this way on social media, you should not be this way at home. You're not going to be successful. You just won't. Over time, you may fool a lot of people in the short term, you might get people there, but once they start getting around you and understanding your practices, your ethics, what you're really trying to accomplish with this company, you'll start seeing some dropouts happen. And so you'll hear this all the time with Logan. You know, it's talking about that servant leadership. And so this is the opportunity through social media to really amplify who you are. It really is. It's to be able to come into a room and say, instead of 25 people, 25,000 people, I can hear my message. But you gotta have that message. It's gotta be a good, consistent message. Otherwise, things start happening and people won't respect you and they're going to start dropping away. Does that make sense? Yes, that's a yes. And that kind of goes, one of the things is number 7, be authentic. And that's where you kind of mix professional and business. I've actually tied ID Life into almost everything I do. I got how old are my daughters? 11 and 9. And they're ID Life junkies for us. I mean, we got them little bottles, they got the shirts, so they're little brand agents for us as well. But there'll be times where we're going out to an event and people will see me in my ID Life shirt or whatever. I'm very visual, so I know that photos are important. So they said we had 2 young girls. We went to the One Direction concert. I was so excited. Not. But I knew there was going to be 45,000 people at that concert. So I told my wife, I said, I'm going to get dressed up. This is what you see. I'm wearing my ID Life shirt, and I'm going to walk around the entire Halloween with my kids, happy that they're there. And I know I'm going to be taking a selfie with the kids and the family. And sure enough, we did at our seats. But what was right in the middle of that picture? This ID Life shirt. So I talked about the importance of being a dad of the year for being out there at a One Direction concert with a bunch of teenagers, and talked about this is my ID why. And then I kind of just suddenly put, you know what? www.idlife2.com. I didn't say go buy products. I didn't say go help them on, hey, take your assessment here. Subtle. I just was subtly about it. And so I had so many people comment on that, see that picture, just share it, like it, because it was about being unique. you know, being different. And that's like one of the biggest things that I think I want to encourage everybody here is think outside the box. Don't get in that box and think, I've got to do the same thing everybody else is doing. And that's where I'm completely different. I want to be the ID life of ID life. The individually designed of individually designed. You know, really take that to heart and understand that we all have our unique fingerprint, and that fingerprint can be put on everyone that we come in touch with. Now, there's some people that don't like to see some of the fingerprints out there. But with social media, we have the opportunity now to balance that and to get that out there. That last one is use the employee. Promote others. That's the equivalent of the high five that Caesar was talking about, like in our back office, our team page. It really is. Being able to show yourself, show your enthusiasm on social media is almost even greater now than in this room. Because I can say how great you guys are, awesome, awesome. There's 15, 20 of us here. But if I go blast that out and all of a sudden I have a photo of us together tagging you guys saying, we had an incredible event today, it was awesome, we learned a lot, we had great takeaways. All of a sudden now, my network sees it, your network sees it, and one person shares that, their network sees it, and it's that simple. But you gotta have the opportunity, you gotta have the heart in the right place, I believe. And this is editorial here, but you really do when it comes to your brand. You gotta make sure that you are portrayed like yourself over there as well. Questions on that? This is the cheat sheet. My basics for me, everybody sees there's so much out there. Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. There's a lot. There's going to be things that are unique to you and your personality. You may be a Pinterest person. You may be an Instagram person. Don't do everything. Pick 2 or 3 things that you can utilize and be very good at, and then do them. And do them well. Even if you just say, you know what, I'm just going to start with Facebook and Twitter, or Facebook and Instagram. Those are going to be my go-to social media things for the next 3 months or 6 months and see how they go. That gives you a baseline of what really can be available to you and make it happen. Conversations and listening, these are things where you can kind of go in and get a feel for things. You know, LinkedIn, like I told you, is pretty huge. It's the business side of things. Google Groups, Google Alerts, Google Trends. Google Alerts, everybody have a Gmail account here? I think most people do, you know. You could actually go in there and set up Google Alerts. And say you want to do a Google Alert for anything on, say, San Antonio Health and Wellness. Type that in. Anytime something comes up on San Antonio Health and Wellness, boom, you get an email to your account, it's pinged. Now you have something, again, you put yourself into a conversation, you know, where you can say, well, I've got something from health and wellness. I can casually put myself in that conversation and see how it is. And you've now created more of a warm lead as opposed to saying, I'm going to go hit those doctors in the medical center and just walk in and out of offices, which you are completely capable of doing. But I'm a salesperson. I've been in sales for 20-something years. Even I don't like to cold call. Even if I love what I do, and I love what I do, but I don't like to just go, because I'm very respectful with my time, and I know that people who have their time, it's just different for me now. So I don't know how many people really like cold calling.
Nobody.
So yeah, and nobody likes to get cold called on. Most people do. So you have that opportunity now to kind of take that through the Google Alerts, set those up in your back office and your email, and that way that you get an email for it. And it could be San Antonio Wellness, it could be obesity in Texas, it could be, you know, diabetes, you know, he's part of diabetes. There's a lot of things. Get creative, because I know what's going to happen. There's going to probably be about, maybe you guys are going to go home and start setting up Google Alerts, and all of a sudden, you know, we're going to have people to go out there and do it. But why not? It doesn't have to be in San Antonio. It could be just anywhere. You don't have to be specific to a region. I mean, literally, if you're talking about another area of the country that you have no people there, LinkedIn could be good for that. Google Alerts could be good for that. It could be Kentucky obesity, whatever. and all of a sudden now anything that's pinged, now you've got ways to kind of get into people. It's like that front door is open a little bit for you, and you just kind of go with it. The management goes beyond Twitter. Hootsuite is free the last time I saw, but basically it's, I use Sprout Social. And so what happens, I actually have that on my phone. And so I've got multiple accounts in here. I have probably several clients that I manage as well. And everything comes in my phone now, so it's pinged. I would actually encourage that for you. If you have a Twitter account, obviously download Twitter on your phone. Facebook, obviously the same thing. But having that opportunity where if you've got multiple accounts, get something like a TweetDeck or get something like Hootsuite or Sprout Social. And I see it as an investment. Sprout Social for me is about $99 a month, but I have multiple accounts on there, and I get analytics galore out of it. Like I can tell you, the percentage of males to females for my Facebook account versus my Twitter account, and they're completely different. You'll see that there's going to be an audience over here in Twitter that is going to be different than your audience on Facebook. It just happens. Sometimes it's male, female, sometimes it's completely opposite. Because the thing on Twitter is anyone can follow you. You don't have to accept that. They just, unless you have a private account, they will just follow you. So your demographics can be all over the board when it comes to Twitter, which is great because you're opening yourself up to something else. Content sharing, we know about those. Photos, videos, two top things that are easily shared. We've got a lot of people on our team. Jamar is one of them. The guy likes to do videos, and that's great. And I think there's the people who say, I've got to have my professional video, and then there's the ones that, in my opinion, I kind of like the authentic, hey, I'm telling you how I am, this is what's going on type of video as well, because people can relate to that. And sometimes when you're like over the top, really good at something, you can actually probably turn. People will go like, wow, I really like that, but I can't do that. I don't have a professional studio. I don't have sound tech. I don't have any of that stuff. I got my iPhone, and I can do that. Well, when you start seeing people doing that, I got my daughter, Kendall, she's 11. Kid's genius with it. She's a Bethany Moda fan. I don't know if you know who Bethany Moda is, but she's a little girl who was like a YouTube sensation, now has her own design line. I think she's on Dancing with the Stars still. So my daughter emulates some of the stuff she does. She does these videos on her iPhone, and even I'm in the industry, and I'm like, how did you do that? And she has a YouTube account. She posts them, and people are just like, all over, just loving everything she's doing. I'm actually going to hire her to do some ID Live videos, so be on the lookout for those. But again, it's about content sharing. It's pretty huge in what we're doing. Any other questions on this part? This is kind of the cheat sheet, if you will. There's more, but when it comes to social media and stuff, this is probably the biggest. These are some of the biggest things where you can kind of go and get information. It's out there. It really is. If you want to know X about Y, it's there. Social media can be a tool that can actually that should be part of your business plan. It really should be, but it shouldn't be your business plan. There's a lot of people that see the numbers of social media and who I can attack and who I can go after. But when it comes down to it, it's still about the belly to belly. Or if they're in another state, you obviously can't do the belly to belly. There's a thing called Skype. There's a thing called Google Hangouts. There's a phone. There's anything. There's your iPhone as well. There's ways of having that interaction nowadays where you still have to have it to be a successful business owner, and we all are. All right. If there aren't any other questions, I think I have Ms. Carla up next. Anything else? I have like I said, I want to thank you guys for taking the information. I know it's kind of been a great afternoon, morning here. But if there's any questions beyond the social media side of things and branding for yourself, we're going to be around and we'll certainly be able to do that. But again, I want to thank you for taking it in. I know this day's been a little crazy with the weather, but again, thanks for all your time, guys.
Great job, thank you. All right, guys, so as we're wrapping up the session today, I want to share, first of all, from the depths of my heart, I sincerely appreciate each and every one of the speakers, again, Michelle, Caesar, Edward, all of you, the Diaz brothers aren't here at the moment, but Dan for participating, because really, we are about team. No greater coach could we have than Logan Stat himself, and he stresses constantly that it's not about me, it's not about I, it's about we. And the system in and of itself is designed for you to win. And I know that our team mantra is where one wins, all can win. And it really is a case of reaching up, plugging into your teams, working with your uplines, and really just rocking this to the extent that you desire to do. But you have a lot of information presented to you today, and it's my hope that you apply all of that in spite of any fears you may have. If I leave you with one thing, the most debilitating thing that I have ever found in any human being I've ever worked with professionally is fear, and really understanding that. And so I want to kind of give you some things to think about on your way out as you process and digest everything that's been shared here with you all today. And that is that, you know, fear, we've heard the acronym about it being false evidence against reality, and it truly is. And so much of fear is driven and initiated and substantiated by the meaning you give it. I want to give you an example. You know, oftentimes we're afraid to, whether it's a cold call situation or it's even, say, in a work environment, there's somebody that you'd like to ask to lunch, or you want to ask out for drinks after work. And you drum up all this courage, and you finally walk up and go, hey, so you want to grab a drink Friday after work? And he says no. And I go, oh, okay. And I walk away and I go, oh my God, he must think I'm terrible, he didn't like me, he's not interested. And I make up this whole story in my mind because he said no. Well, now that's fueled my fear, because now I have evidence that supports approaching somebody. But I talk myself out of it and I go, I'm going to go back and I'm going to try this again, because maybe it was something else. And they go, hey, I know you weren't free Friday, but how about lunch on Monday? And he says no. I'm devastated. Now I have all the evidence in the world that I need that this doesn't work. It's about me. No one wants what I have to offer. See how this is translating? I'm going somewhere with this. Well, the truth of the matter is, who knows what's going on in his personal life, why he couldn't hang out Friday night after work, and he has stuff to do Monday at lunchtime. But yet I made up a whole story about it. Well, that's the meaning that I've given that he said no. But now I've attached emotion to it. It must be me, he didn't like me, oh my God, he hated my dress, whatever it was. Right? Y'all are laughing because I know this is going to come home for many of you. So now I've attached all this emotion to it, and it's what I'm focused on the rest of the day. I go back to my desk, head home, or I walk away from the prospect because there was a no, and I made up a story about it. Now I've attached an emotion to it, got myself up in a tizzy and a hairball, right? You know, it's true. Now I'm focusing on it. When he walks by, I can't believe he said no. Now I'm obsessed and possessed with the whole situation, right? And then I get off work, or I'm calling my girlfriend, can you believe that he said no? Like, what? And I go on and on and on. Well, now I'm stressing over it, right? What turned out to be a simple run-in, I attached a meaning, I gave it all this emotion, it became what I'm focusing on. I'm feeling crappy at this point about the whole situation. I'm stressed. But really, at the core of that whole thing was fear of rejection. And so whether it's the fear holds you back from actually approaching someone to share ID Life because you have evidence of something like this that's happened to you before, or you actually approach someone in ID Life and they say no, kind of like Caesar touched on, they're not saying no to you, they're saying no to themselves. They don't think enough of themselves to even care to take the assessment. They don't care to look into, maybe there are some products that will actually have me sleeping better, feeling better, looking better. Because let me tell you something, I have never met a human being ever, and I've dealt with tens of thousands of clients personally, let alone now through ID Life, that has ever told me they didn't have a single ounce to lose or gain, have never slept better than like a baby in all their life. They don't have a stitch of stress, have more energy than they know what to do with. They're a perfect picture of health and wellness, and they have more money than God. I've never met someone that has all of that in place. Yet we have something to offer that will address any one or all of those areas. But the fear from being told no, or that someone didn't care about themselves enough to look at the assessment or to try the product, you made up a story about it. I tried network marketing and it didn't work. Network marketing works, you didn't. Okay? Hard reality. but you can make it work because our model is exceptional, second to none. So you need to realize that no means no right now, not forever, and it's not no to you, it's not even no to ID Life, it's no to themselves. Be okay with that. Don't attach a story to it. But this is something that you can really kind of take in and apply to every area in your life because it really pours over. It amazes me sometimes when I watch, and I've spent so much time educating myself and practicing behavioral practices and so forth with my own client base in the past, the stories we make up. We attach so much meaning to it when there wasn't an ounce of truth to it. It's only real in our minds, or we hang on to a past situation and don't dare to step out of our comfort zone. And as Logan often says, if you don't step out of your comfort zone, everyone in your life is going to pass you by, and you're still going to be standing there wishing and wanting. The number one reason why people don't succeed and reach their goals, they never take the first step. Because the fear is holding them back. Here's my personal mantra, be fearless. What's the worst thing that can happen? What is the absolute worst thing that can happen? You personally get healthier because you're on ID Life, you're on ID Nutrition, you're in the company. What's the very worst thing that can happen? What's the best thing that can happen? You dare to step outside your comfort zone. You dare to realize that you've got the phenomenal offering. And some will take it, some won't, and that's okay. You just keep moving. It is a proven path to success. And so from my heart to yours, I sincerely hope that you embrace it. This is a perfect situation from this golf player. You know, it's not about being lucky, and I hear that oftentimes, not just within my own team and company-wide, but in life. Oh, well, Caesar hit executive in a matter of weeks because he's just lucky. No, he busted his ass, and he finally applied everything I've been saying for 9 months. Okay? True. True. When you engage, you'll get the results. You gotta work, you guys. If you're here to build your future, your fortune, you're gonna have to work, but here's the reality of it. Do the work now over the course of the next 24 months and coast thereafter. Or don't do the work for the next 24 months and continue to hold on to your job forever. I, by the grace of God, for those of you that know me, I don't need to do this, and I give it away. So let's be clear about that. I do this because of my passion in health and wellness, and because I didn't grow up privileged, and I didn't grow up with the ability to do what I want, when I want, with whom I want, only if I want, et cetera, that I get to today and have for a very long time. But I busted my butt to get there. There is no overnight success, but there is assured success. Treat your business like a business and it will reward you. Treat it like a hobby and it'll just be fun. The choice is yours. I want you to really take this in, and I really, really, really encourage you to take a snapshot of this and own this. Great, y'all. I can always tell the ones that are engaged because they're immediately reaching for the phone, but here's the truth. Own it each day. Now I am the voice. I will lead, not follow. I will believe, not doubt. I will create, not destroy. I am a force for good. I am a leader. I will defy the odds and I will set a new standard. If you own it, let me hear you say yes.
Yes!
All right, y'all have a blessed and amazing day. Go out there and rock ID Life. God bless you always and always.